Hello. Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed your break. If you were one of those that ate poop, me too. Me too. I want to say, Contos Dodado, thank you for following. OK Kerrigan, thank you for following. And Ryan X Session 0 Clothing, thank you for following as well. And we jump back in. The party awaking in the morning, a little bit late start to their day, but you know, they had a busy night, you know. some more busy than others.
Rowan, as usual, is going to walk Evelyn to the end of his road and kiss her goodbye for the day. And we're going to be dealing with those things that attacked my father and Thodrak today. That's our plan. So, if I don't come back in 48 hours, that's where we went. So, rally the troops. And Rowan's just going to kiss her forehead and hug her and walk back to the house and go to the kitchen.
Okay. Your mother's prepared a hearty breakfast for all the drunks.
Ooh, pancakes.
Cole would have woke up early to help her make said items.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure Corinne probably would have assisted as well because he's not hungover.
He is not hungover.
And only transferred
He's a
4
good
hours,
boy. So. All right.
Aurelia would like to wake up Marty with a wet willy.
Why?
Time for breakfast. Let's go.
Yes, there's other ways to wake an individual from the slumber. I was having a wonderful dream.
Oh, this is the quintessential morning greeting of my people, and you're going to disrespect that?
No. I disrespect it. It's weird. It's strange. I don't like it. My head. You see, he reaches up, but you're like, by this point, like already out of the way. I just wanted to wish you good morning, and you cringe. I see how that works. I'm on to you. He like gets himself up, and you guys make your way downstairs to the breakfast table. Came on down to the breakfast table, felt like I could cry. Speaking of our earlier conversation, if you know, you know. Anyways, anybody else doing anything as you have your breakfasts? Okay, what are you doing?
So what's the plan of action of today? We need to scout.
I'm gonna look to my dad, and Cole. So we were talking about scouting the area in which those gnolls were coming in. Do you remember? And Rowan's going to put a hypothetical map out with like plates and salts and silverware. This is our house. Where were you when you guys were attacked? And in which direction did you remember that they came?
It's essentially all just comes down to that they came from the north.
All right. Well.
Not like a ton of detail as far as that, like, because they move quick, especially when they're in a pack. They run in like a stampede kind of thing, and then circle their prey, and that's how they fight. They confuse and circle them, and just take little jabs at them as they're circling them. Kind of like wild dogs and hyenas fight, essentially.
Well, perhaps one thing that we could do is see if there's anybody else that can remember specific events, attacks. And if we can get enough plot points on the map, then Asher, maybe you can go in a general direction of where these are coming from. Maybe there's something to be seen.
I mean, if we know they're up north, we might be able to find trails and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Yeah. You mentioned you could fly. Do you think you could, kind of from above, maybe point out these trails to kind of...
If you guys stay close, I might be able to act as a reconnaissance of nature.
Well, it's probably not a good idea for us to follow you in bird form in the event that we are circled and trapped and...
Well, no. You guys stay on the ground, stay quiet. I stay in the ground, stay in the air, and point things out. Try to avoid danger.
People?
I think I could carry 1 to 2 of you, depending on who it is. But I'll look over to Cole's brother and be like, he would probably break my spine. But for the most part, any of you are light enough, I can carry on my back.
Okay, so what are you doing?
I think you should just go and scout, Asher. Go high, go fast, come back. Pinpoint exactly where they're at, and we go.
Fair enough. Someone want to come with? Someone light? Someone with good eyesight? Aurelia?
Yeah, I can go with.
You're observant. And he'll polymorph, or he'll beast shape into a giant eagle and just kind of fly out, try to see what he can see. If spend like an hour or two just flying over the colder terrain, seeing if he can find trails that lead north, anything where they intersect.
You see, as you fly over the north, further away from Herondine into the woods over there, through the trees every now and then, you see some of the men bringing their carts up to work off in the woods, some hunting, some logging, preparing for the winter, the typical preparations. Even further in the north, you see here and there, maybe twice in the hour that you scout up north, a pack of gnolls that just kind of swoop in, not attacking any of the human people, but just taking down game. You see kind of how they fight. They surround it and take their jabs, and then they take it, and it looks like they're taking it up further north when they acquire some of that game. Following that trail, you see a kind of encampment that's built along this rock face formation, where you can see that potentially they have like these burrows, these dens. You see the little groups of the gnolls. They take the corpses, the remains of the game that they've hunted, and bring it in to that encampment. The encampment has these spikes, like stakes, that are stationed all around in this circular formation around the dens into the rock formations.
Are there any
It's kind of like
trails?
their makeshift defense of just these spears sticking out towards the outwardly.
Are there any trails leading north from there? Like that's a newer encampment, or is that an encampment that's been there for a while?
Doesn't look like there's anything that's heading out further north. It seems like everything has... do you want to travel further north?
Yeah, because we want to figure out what's pushing them south. Or
yeah, traveling
pushing them more
a little bit
towards
further north, you see after some time, you discover another similar kind of rock face that had, at one point, probably some dens. This was maybe a few miles even off further north, but it seemed there's no evidence of anything that drove them out by any means. It just seems like they are migrating. They moved south a bit further from there. So it's like they're just kind of slowly making their way. They'll stop, make an encampment, build their dens, and then move further south. This one seems to be a little bit more lived in because they've hit the roadblock of Herndine.
Okay. So he'll circle for a bit, kind of look at Aurelia to see what she wants to do. Like if she wants to look around on the ground or head back.
I think we need to go report back. I don't know. I think we should talk to them. Find out what's driving them down here if we can. If we go much farther north, I'm afraid your wings are gonna get cold.
He'll just, without making any sound, just circle back around and head back to the cabin.
Okay, yep, you make your way back to the Drogon home. And you report that to the team, the party.
So what do you guys think? Just go talk to them?
I think peace is our best foot forward. And we always have the backup plan of violence.
I do have a spell that I prepared just for today where I can charm a monster, but I might be able to give us more information of what's going on.
I might have not heard it, but is there anything pushing them down? Or is it just them making themselves come down?
Seems like just migration pattern, but it's strange that if anything is pushing them down, it's miles and miles ahead.
Mm-hmm. It seems like if they could, they'd probably move past Herndine. So I don't know if they're running from something or running to something.
You know, an interesting thought. When me and Bree went to the library, they spoke of an ice mountain, a volcano, that spit ice further north away from them. My curiosity is if something that is from there might be stretching out, pushing them closer. And if that's the case, maybe the Noes aren't the thing we need to worry about. I do think talking to them would get us more information. If we go in swinging, they won't talk. But we do not need to let our guards down either.
So
Run.
just
Yeah.
in case, mage armor.
Me and my brothers, while we were traveling to Herndine, we found an encampment, huge. With it looked to be part of an army. Xander scouted ahead and checked it out, but we didn't poke that sleeping bear.
Wait, what were the colors of the camp? Did it have,
Oh, so what were the colors of that
remember?
camp?
Do you remember?
I think they were red, right?
That was one of them.
It was weird.
This was also
It was
further
as if-
east. This was, I mean, a few days east, not necessarily
Okay.
north.
Okay.
It was red and yellow.
Red and yellow. Okay.
Appeared to be further east, but the colors were red and yellow. The camp itself appeared to be scrapped together. They're now talking about it. Don't think it could be the nose. Something
No.
else to possibly
So-
think about.
You might have stumbled upon a Trevane army camp of some sort. Possibly. That's the only man I could think of who was red and gold, red and yellow. Don those colors. Well, do we have enough supplies? Are we good on potions and whatnot to head out? I know I'm good. Got some good stuff.
Clothing. Do we have the clothing? Warmth.
Oh yeah. Hey, Mom. Did you do you have any extra like furs and clothes for?
She brings out a whole rack that she's been working on having you guys be here, and then matching your themes as well, like as she promised.
Rowan's just gonna don his fur cloak that he always wore, and with his armor. All right.
If we want to do this before the right, let's get on the move.
Let's go. If we're not back within 48 hours, Mom, I let Evelyn know. We're not back within 48 hours. We went up north.
You will be.
And I'm gonna give my mom a hug and a kiss, and hug my dad, and go out through the back door.
Heading out the back door itself, which faces north, bolts past the barn, head up north over some of the hills and valleys that litter Herndine, and then start to level out. Little mounds here and there, little rock formations. You see how beautiful it is, the forests here, with almost like redwood-esque pines, but covered in snow and icicles, and just the light dusting of snow that's covers the landscape. Few hours in, heading up north now, probably approaching the early morning at this point. Not quite noon yet. The little quarries and nooks and fallen trees, the kind of rough terrain of the north. Roll perception.
Nat 20.
Ditto.
11.
I almost did. I rolled a 19. 19 plus 8.
Me too.
All of you with a decent roll are able to gather that there's a bit of unnatural movement. A scurrying slightly off in the distance. Hushed. Just a You pin it over to the left, then pin it over to the right. You hear scurrying of creatures in the woods. Over the rocky formations, you catch no glimpse of them, but you can hear them. And then, kind of slowing your pace and realizing, making that eye contact with each other, that like, did you hear that? Yeah, I heard that. And then you hear that familiar gnoll yelping.
I'm going to spend a level 3 spell slot on Cole in tongues. So I'll have the ability to understand any spoken language that he hears regardless.
Cole, through the yelping, you hear just these voices that are speaking to each other. Some of it is just yelping. It's just like and then the voices every now and then You hear one that kind of stands out.
No, circle. No. No, this one's too big. We informed the others.
You hear the gnolls grow quiet. That scurrying around you grows quiet as well.
Did you gather anything interesting?
Yeah, I was able to understand them. I imagine that was something you did. They said we were too big. They went back for reinforcements, but they know we're coming. They headed in that direction.
Pointing in the direction of the actual sounds.
But it seems we're heading the right way.
Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing.
We're not going to get them by surprise.
Let's not bring out our weapons. Honestly, Bree and Asher and Karan, you guys are probably going to be our front of force on this one, to be honest. So, be ready.
Who's taking point?
I imagine it would be Asher and Aurelia, since we've seen it from the air. We'd be able to kind
Rowan
of.
will be in
Cole
the
would
back.
be close as well. He would be close with the three of them. I imagine maybe even in a line.
Yeah, or like a little triangle or something. Because you know, but you also will have that for an hour.
Okay.
Okay. Asher, as you make your way up, some areas where you kind of have to like climb a little bit, grabbing onto a branch for support, it snaps. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
That's a 7.
It's a 7. You guys hear very loudly and then see as a branch wrapped around a tree swings up, and you see the spikes on this branch as it whips around, strikes him in the chest. You will take 13 points of piercing damage.
Aurelia, could you take the lead and check for that? Cast Fist Blood a little bit.
Yep.
Wasn't pleasant at all.
Well, we know they're crafty.
It's a larger form of something that you would be familiar with, Rowan, as far as like trapping. Up in the north, it's just like it's these like branch whips that whip around and have spikes that just impale the animal or whatever. Typically, these seem to be designed for larger game or humanoids, perhaps.
Holson, could I possibly give Aurelia the help action
Sure.
in looking for traps?
Yep.
Rowan's gonna tell everybody in the party. It seems like they're adapting to human trapping ways. This is usually for bigger game.
These are bigger versions of what you would use for like smaller game, so like rabbits or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what he's telling them, is they're learning from us and adapting it against us and bigger things. So I want to keep an eye on the end, since Rowan's towards the back. I want to see if things are following us by any chance. Olsen, just throwing that out there.
Okay. Go ahead and roll perception for that. Roll your investigation for Aurelia. Roll your investigation for traps.
That's a dirty 20.
I also got a dirty 20.
30-20. Rowan, looking behind you, you don't see any signs of gnolls or anything trailing you. With your dirty 20, at first you're looking for similar things akin to what Asher tripped initially with the branch handhold. And then you start to notice a very thin white rope in one of these kind of fatal funnel rock formations. And you see there's a tree growing out from there, and then other trees, and you see that little tripwire. It's almost very, very hard to see, especially with the snow-coated ground. Very camouflaged, but you do recognize it.
Can I make 2 disable it?
Yes, make a dexterity check. Or a sleight of hand, perhaps? Would that be?
Sure. That's 21.
21. It basically activates in reverse. So where it was attached to the tree, just kind of, and then it just falls limp.
Okay, I think we're good. I'll keep checking though as we go along.
Traveling ahead.
I shall keep an eye out as well in helping you.
Traveling very carefully. You find a few more littered about. Starting to get a hang of what you're looking for. Various different means of different things that they were doing. Like you're now cautious of every hand holder and everything that you would naturally grab. Like pretty witty of them. It's like, oh, I would use that to grab myself to pull up, and it's like that activates it. And so you catch on to some of those things. Roll me another investigation finally for this last trek of your journey up through this little valley area. It's like the best path through this rocky bit, so it's like they've littered it with them because they know like this is where people would come through, or like creatures would come through.
22.
22. You successfully discover the rest of the traps as you come out through the other end of this little valley. Looking ahead, after several hours of travel now, you recognize Asher, these unnatural formations, which you and Aurelia would recognize as these spears, these barricades that are propped up against this larger rock formation, or around this larger rock formation, looking into this little bold, not necessarily a crevasse, but more like just a crater that leads down into where the den area would be, where they had the little shelters placed up against that rock formation into the den. You are close enough to be dangerous now. What would you like to do?
Asher will look to Aurelia and kind of go back to the group. I think this is where we saw from up ahead. That's their home village, or whatever you want to call it.
I think maybe we approach. We are a threatening group, regardless of whether or not we're wielding our weapons. So try to make yourselves seem as non-threatening as possible, whatever that may be.
Do have Pass Without a Trace ready, but I think that might be sneaking in the backside, usually.
Do we want to be sneaking into their home?
No, that's not wise.
We should have them come to us, right?
We should announce ourselves.
I can approach. It is my idea to attempt to talk to them.
I'll be close.
If any.
Rowan's going to follow close behind him.
Could you take... And Asher will hand him his sword and his shield and, just hand it to Rowan. Hold on to this. I'll go with him. And
okay.
I might be able to charm one if things start going hairy. But I don't use weapons, so...
You got it.
You hear a rumbling. Familiar, similar to the encircling that they were doing while you were in the woods, but now just in this more open area and closer You hear that as some of them starting to circle around the party.
Has it been an hour? Do I still have tongues?
It has not, so you do still have tongues.
Okay, can I hear what they are saying?
They are just growling.
Just growling.
Yeah. These ones are, yeah.
Okay, then in that case, in their language, I can speak it as well as hear it. Understand,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah, when you have tongues, you just say whatever you want. They will automatically know what you're saying. So long as they speak a language, they will understand what you're saying.
Okay. Cool will say in their language. Okay, cool. Cool will say then,
we don't mean any harm. We come to talk.
See, one of them with these like furred pauldrons. The rest of them are just have like these loincloths and their bare furred skin. These ones with these pauldrons. One of them, it kind of stops and then like peers in and listens to you.
Look, it's a no. Look at one.
It's a no.
Wow, go away.
I'm gonna kill it.
Kill it. It kind of stops and then it starts. Like stiffens up, stands up among the rest that are kind of crawling on all fours, circling around the party. This one stops and then it ducks down in as well. Got its attention.
Your tribe leader. We would wish to speak with him. Come to terms that both of us agree with.
You see as this circle formation, some of them starting to inch in a little bit closer, and every now and then just not necessarily yip at you, but just like trying to get you guys in closer to each other. They'll just and just like yip at you kind of thing. But then this circle formation starts to taper off and you see this like double or triple line that feeds into the entrance as they leave the circle. Some of them still lingering and curious and yipping and biting at you. They head down into the den area. Past the spikes that are set up. You see some of those with the glaives posted up around the spikes with the pauldrons. The rest of the gnolls that lingered work their way in. You see they kind of turn their backs to you, but still like cautious and like snarling.
I'm imagining this is right as I'm throwing my stuff. He's just gonna like throw it back on his back, but I guess we have an audience.
What are you doing?
Cole would stand strong even as the gnolls attempt to yip at him. He doesn't want to look weak among them, knowing that, if you look as prey you are, and again, he would say,
we would wish to speak with the leader of the pack.
There's nobody there. Like I said, they went into the den area. There's nobody to talk to at that point. You'd have to move closer if you wanted to do that.
We would have. I would have.
Okay.
I would have moved closer, yes.
Some of the armed ones with the pauldrons at the entrance there with the spears pointed out, they had take their glaives and kind of
throwing at the back,
growling,
going to make sure.
But then with these ones, you do hear them like essentially like, no further, stay back.
He would stop, saying back, his hands up, but still looking strong.
Your leader, we wish to speak with him.
You see as a rather large one, familiar to what you had seen in the woods when you saved Thodrak and Rowan's dad. This big one in a similar vein with kind of a mohawk for this tuft of fur that's like, you know, when a dog is aggressive and it has that raised fur, the white tipped face, and a scar across its eye, and again a flail. And it the other one's in tow.
What is it you want? You speak our tongue. I speak a tongue, yes. Your traps. They have injured some companions of ours. We wish to try and communicate and see if we can come to an agreement we both agree on. Or we could just take you and feed. You take what you want, and you feed on what is here, and you have to move again. Or you learn to live in the area that you have now. We don't want to live here. We'll deal with each of you one by one, and then we move further. The way I look at it, we take you out now. That's less that can hurt mine. Why are you moving? What is pushing you away? The north isn't safe. Why? The mountain grumbles. Von Silath will go boom. If we could solve that problem, would you move back and leave the people of Herondine alone? It's what our people have always done. We listen to the mountain when it blows up and covers the world in snow. Then we move back. But until then, we need to be prepared for the strong winter. I understand your instinct of survival. I ask that you give us time to possibly stop the mountain from blowing. See if there is a different way. You break the wheel and you don't have to run. You have no chance. You cannot survive up there. The only ones that can, and the only ones that have, the cold season. My bloodline gives me a better chance. The giants, the Goliaths, we have lived in cold aspects for most of our lives. I understand somebody that you've just met is hard to trust, especially when survival is all you know. But what I ask of you is you give us time, and you stop hurting people in the meantime. You look around your tribe, picking up every couple of months, moving, fighting. That's no way to survive. That's no way to live. That is just survival. We must get somewhere further away, for when it blows, we need to hunker down. I suggest you do the same. All of your people will die too. The Coatsies, I don't think they've come to an agreement. I don't think they are going to squelch the mountain.
So the coaches control the mountain.
Control. No one controls the mountain. They feed the mountain, satisfy the mountain.
They haven't been feeding it. Fine. If you wish to run, let me ask that you don't injure any more on your way through.
Same goes for yours.
And she looks over at, like, the more human-looking ones, and kind of...
Your safe passage could be promised, but you cannot injure the innocent.
And how can I be sure?
And with that, your tongue's ends.
As he's looking, does he know? Does he know?
Yeah, you know.
Knowing that it ended, looking at the warlord, I'm just gonna call him a warlord, tribe lord.
Do you speak common?
As soon as he says that, do you want me to roll to make a deduction, an insight check to see, like, oh, it's probably that he can't understand anymore? Or would you say that I just inherently know the spell ended? Cool. All right. I'll recast the spell on you.
The abilities that allow me to talk to you ended for a brief moment.
As I said, how can I trust?
How do you wish to earn your trust? Is it food you wish?
Food.
Is it by combat?
The pups are hungry.
We will hunt for you. We will bring you back meat. And in exchange, you stay peacefully. After that, we will travel together past Herondine. And then in doing so, you can stay away while we discover what is happening with the mountain.
You tell yours, I'll tell mine. If yours do anything to mine, I will unleash the whole force of the pack on your village.
I understand your way of protection. I honor it. You are strong. We are as well. In your tribe, your scouts, your elders, is there anyone that is a translator? This ability that I have, it costs a lot.
We cannot learn common.
Okay. We will have a sign then. You communicate and tell us when there's something you need to say, and we will try to communicate it back, but only in emergencies.
give me some time to discuss with my companions how to get you the food you need. How much to feed the pups.
Boars, deer, small game, big game, anything. We are stocking up ourselves.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Boars, deer, big game, small game. We are stocking up ourselves. Anything.
Okay. And the number of how many? What would satisfy and gain your trust?
Enough to survive the winter.
And your numbers? How much do we need to feed for?
With that, he snarls and growls. Doesn't trust to tell you.
A range.
A village worth.
A village worth.
Okay. Give me a few to talk with my companions. I will return in a few.
He will wait for him to acknowledge him, not wanting to turn his back on him, again showing sign of respect, and then turn around to discuss with the party.
Oh. What's going on?
We only got about half that, but it sounds like there's some type of transaction or something.
They're just trying to survive. The ice mountain that I was telling you about. My biggest fear was correct. It's about to erupt. They're running from it. They talked of cultists. Something that feeds it. It's not getting fed.
What is fed to it? Do you know?
I don't. But I imagine if we gain their trust, we can learn more information.
Yep.
Their trust to be earned, they need food. They're puppers. The good puppers.
The bestest voice.
Are you like, is he within earshot still, or do you like step far back away?
However far back you guys are, I would.
I don't think we're that far.
But I don't know if he still understands, right? Because I'm speaking common now, but it would go straight to his language.
When you talk under tongues,
yeah,
everybody just understands. It doesn't matter. Like, so, like, if someone speaks Elvish, they hear you in Elvish. If someone who speaks Draconic, they don't. So that type of thing.
Oh,
got you. Okay.
I didn't even know that. I thought it was just like
well, I mean, it was still not an
language.
insult. I don't believe that's what he called them. So that's what he was going to.
The puppers need fed. And he wouldn't tell me an amount. A village amount. So a good amount.
It doesn't make sense that they're feeding the volcano unless there's some.
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think there's another.
Well,
The Gnolls are not feeding the volcano. They speak of cultists.
They said coldies, not
Coldies.
Okay, I'm
Oh.
sorry. Okay, no, it's
I heard
okay.
cultist. And
I did too.
They speak of beings, coldies. Again, we could get more information as we travel. I told them that if they gave us time, we could possibly discuss with the mountain, and that way they didn't have to move, but they still wish to continue. The only other thing we could ask of them is safe travel, so they don't hurt any of ours and we don't hurt any of theirs, but that needs to gain trust, and with trust becomes food. This is the most peaceful way.
Could Could Aurelia and Asher together kind of estimate the size of the village? Of like, since we saw an aerial view of this,
you see just about the same as what you guys can see on the ground at this point. You don't know how deep those little burrows go, the dens go that they have set up.
All right. So we go back, we talk to Desir. We let them know what the null problem is. They're hungry. And, well, we should probably let them know that the volcano could possibly be erupting as well. And that we're going to look into that.
Oh, can you ask them if the coldies look like me?
If you come with me, yes. But if you are the Codys, it worries me that the sight of you might cause combat.
I'll follow. I'll follow right behind her.
I'm good at looking non-threatening.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as you're comfortable with that, yes.
We would continue walking back cautiously back to the gate, front gate, as the gnolls. I would make a passive perception on how they react to seeing Aurelia. If they tense up more or...
Anything above a 1 would show you how they react.
Okay.
As Aurelia steps up and they get like a closer look, you notice as like some of the lesser gnolls kind of like hunker down and kind of like do like a timid dog type thing that they do.
Almost afraid. Interesting.
The others with the pauldrons, the little bit like medium gnolls, do kind of the same thing, like, and then the big one, who itself is, though hunched over, a little over 6 foot tall, which is huge for a gnoll, but also kind of hulking. It kind of then gets on a knee and then bows its head. The other ones get on knees and bow their heads as well.
Is she...
Cody.
Hey. Okay.
Protector of the North.
Is an ally of ours. Does she gain your trust?
Protector of the North.
Do you trust her to lead you further away? Or do you trust her to give you time for us to stop the mountain?
Yes.
Ask if, because I can't speak, I don't have tongues. Ask,
right.
if they can, oh, do I have tongues now?
Yeah, you got tongues now.
These are not the droids you're looking for. Boom.
Yeah.
Do you have a map to the mountain?
We don't do maps. We... instinct.
Landmarks. Instinct gets you close, but landmarks get you further.
Well, most Coldies live beyond the frozen river. Most...
He kind of looks at you and then looks at Aurelia.
Most never come this far.
As I said, We plan to break the wheel.
We plan to break the what?
Wheel. Change. We plan to make a change.
Why are you this far?
I've
You
never.
muted? Oh, no, it just wasn't.
No, sorry. My microphone just had a moment. I'm not. I'm of the North, but I was not raised in the North. In exchange for your peace, we can try to fix this problem so you can go home.
We accept.
What's your name, my friend?
He's here.
As difficult as it seems. I'll write it for you.
He's scared.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Well, Kizikir.
That's how it's spelled, but
I am honored that you gave us the time. We will still hunt and find you some food before we continue. We ask that you give us all the information you know on the Codys before we go, so we know what information what situation we are going into and how to help.
They are the keepers of the North. They keep us safe. They don't communicate with us much. And they don't come this far, usually.
What?
Their duty is to Vonzilath.
And what do they ask in return for your protection, for the protection of the North?
They ask nothing of us. We worship, respect. Without them, there would be no ground. There would be no life. Not in this world.
you gather at least the world they know.
Yes.
Do the Codys. They keep the mountain from blowing.
Yes.
What other beings worship them as well as you?
All of the North should. I don't know. We don't talk to other beings.
You know of beings that don't like the Codys. The Codys are against fighting.
No. Cody's not against fighting. Cody's will protect the North.
Protect from what?
Intruders. Any that wish to tread upon Vonzilath.
And
If
do
the
you know
code
of
doesn't
any-
get them, the Codys will.
And do you know of any intruders that have made it to them?
No.
Thank you. Aurelia, do you have anything that you wish to say?
Do you know how they keep the volcano from erupting?
No. We no go. Once an ancestor did. He did. But he told us that they do. Not how, but they do.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bows.
I think we should go confer with the group, Cole, and see how we can rectify this.
Before we go, one last thing. Kinzuki. The way that the Gnolls adapt and fight the cold weather. I ask that you help us, since we are helping you. Do you have tips or tricks to adapting to the cold that might not be known to the average being?
It helps if you have fur.
Cole would laugh with that. He would laugh with that.
But any magic or blessings?
Not that we use. We are just adapted to it.
Okay. Thank you. Truly, thank you.
And with that, he would nod to him. Before he goes, he would also remind him, we can't understand him, but a mark or a sign, something that he would tell his people to tell us of, like, hey, like, there's something I need to tell you, it's urgent, kind of thing. Something that they're comfortable with doing or saying. Or
He just holds up a finger.
a finger. Simple enough. Cool. He would bow his head and look at Aurelia.
Are you ready?
Yes, and I bow to him. Let's go.
And we go back to the party.
Perfect. And you go back to the party?
Go back to the party.
And
For
divulge
sake
that information to the party.
Yeah, I was about to say, for sake of time, we divulge all of that information to you guys.
Right. Let's get back to Jazir.
Is the tribe leader still standing watching us, I'm assuming?
Yep.
So once he divulges all of that, Asher's gonna take what looks like a shrub that's just dormant currently. He'll take off a branch of it and walk up with his hands up and kind of bow down and present him and cast Druidcraft as he's doing it to make the branch come to life, and just kind of hold it out to him to... And he'll just kind of hand it to him and bow down and go back to the group. I mean, hopefully that helps some relation. I know Druidic people.
You offended them. They all take up arms. Roll initiative.
awesome, dude.
Let's get back to Jazir. And let him know that a deal was struck. Yep.
You guys head back. We will follow behind. Me and Elwyn are going to hunt to get them some sort of food for the night. So that way, humans aren't being hunted. We will return back hours after.
I can assist with that if you want. Just like I did with Aurelia.
That would be wonderful. Your company is appreciated. I understand talking to.
I forgot it. Yaskir? What is it?
Jazir.
Jazir, sorry.
I understand talking to Jazir. That is priority. I just wish to make sure that the children are fed for the night.
We'll go really quick. And, if you guys aren't back in...
house.
Meet you back at the house, guys. Be safe.
Meet you back at the house at night, yes.
I guess Rowan will lead the rest of the party back. And, I'm actually going to take Alder. And if anybody else wants to come, Rowan's going to take his horse to get there fast. To the circle. And
you make your way up to the only stone walls of the village of Herndine to report to Jazir of your findings up in the north. And with that, we will end the session and take up from there next session. Hey, you guys want to see the battle map that you missed out on?
Yes, because we just talked the shit out of that, dude. High five, Anna, because that was fun.
So here's a little battle map. If I boop, this was.
oh wow! If we messed up, we would have been fighting these dudes.
Let me see. Where were we?
Ooh.
Not just the women, but the children too.
And there's your big bad guy. Here
we could have taken him.
Yeah.
Where? I don't see this yet. Where? I'm missing it.
It's on stream. It's on stream.
Oh,
You
it's
just
on
have to watch
Twitch.
it there.
I see. I'm sorry.
There's the guys. There
How
they are.
cute are those little gnolls?
Look at those
Look
little
at
gnolls and their little dens in this little rock thing.
Oh,
yeah.
The cute little
Look at-
puppers.
Look at them.
Look at the puppers.
And look at all you
Kill the
guys.
puppers.
Because the models aren't ready yet. Just a bunch of puppers. Yeah. Just a little thing. Look at the eye.
God, we would have destroyed them though. Poor things.
Would you have?
Just massacred the puppers.
Would you have?
There had to be more. There had to be like double or triple
Yes.
that. Like,
Yes.
Like 30 of them
Would
just
you
come out
have?
of
Action
the
economy is everything in this game.
It's like Clown Car.
Indeed.
The 2 times where he mentioned they wouldn't specify how many people live there, and then you can guesstimate that you cannot see the village.
yeah.
How deep the
And
burrows
I'm
go.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, also saying there's a lot. You just
There's a
can't
lot.
see them.
But with that, we will end the session and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
I mean, next week should be interesting.
You know,